Ah, hello, my lovelies, and the very warmest of welcomes to. That was an early one. That was an early one. I normally manage at least 5 minutes before I get a hiccup or a burp or my innards explode in some way. Hey ho. A very warm welcome to Wednesday Night Live, and I hope your Wednesday has been a lovely one, an absolutely super one that's been full of joy and stuffed to the brim with extra plumptiousness. Because, and I'll be quite frank with you about this, you deserve nothing less than that. You are such a top of the range group of chums. You really are. Couldn't wish for better. And oh, there's a lovely start. I've got two green slabs at the top of my doings. You'd be amazed what I've got at the top of my doings. Sean, the lovely Sean, has become a channel member. And he then upgraded to become a top line channel member with all of the incredible features and benefits that will give him, including, God, I've forgotten all the things that I've tried to bribe you with over the years. I'm sure some of you will remind him of what he's now absolutely entitled to. Cheers, darlings, your very good health. I have had, oh, hang on, oh, God, that's bloody awful. Oh, dear. Before I get weighed in on the wine, I should say that tonight's wine tasting element is brought to us again courtesy of the lovely Joe. This is the second of the 3 bottles of wine that he very kindly sent to me. And this is a Hungarian dry white chap. And I'm not going to tell you the name of it. And that is the reason that I'm not going to tell you the name of it. If you think that I'm going to try and pronounce that, you've got another thing coming. And last night's wine, if you were watching, was an absolute joy and delight. It was utterly, utterly sensational. This one isn't, but it's wet, it's cold, and it contains alcohol. And it was sent with love and the very kindest of thoughts, and that alone will make it taste absolutely splendid. And I'm doubly grateful for it because I've had a mad day. I still haven't been to the shop. I don't have any of my essentials, and the reason for that is, not unnaturally, I slept in a bit this morning, and I didn't tumble down the stairs. Not literally. That's a lyric from 9 to 5. Poured myself a cup of ambition and all of that. Good lyric, that. I thought it was a good song, 9 to 5. I really did. Not a bad film either. Anyway, so I didn't stumble downstairs until 11 o'clock. I made coffee and I sat down and I started editing this blessed Welsh video that I've been obsessing over, and by extension, you poor sods have been having to suffer me obsessing over it. So I started editing it, didn't I? I finished the I finished the editing and the downloading from the edit suite at, I think it was at 11 minutes past 5, and immediately had to leave for work. So it's then got to be uploaded to YouTube. I've got to get it out tonight, you see, because Sean's video goes out in the morning. So, so on the way to work, I've got my iPad on the passenger seat, and I'm uploading this thing using my data, which didn't last long. It lasted about, it's on a video actually. It lasted about 9 minutes before I got a text telling me that I've used all of my data allowance for this month. I've only got tiny data on the iPad because it normally lives in the house. Actually, no, I take it back. I take it back. It's a different taste, but it's not actually unpleasant. It's not. It's just a. Oh, and now I'm getting the. Oh, I am getting the glow and the warm tendrils going out, which is always a sign of a good one. It's unusually light and zesty. Not normally the kind of wine that I would go for, but as it settles on the palate. Oh, I know. Right. I have to apologize to this wine, and I apologize to Joe. I've just remembered that when I got in, I necked what was left of a glass of Vimto. And you know that makes wine taste lousy. You know, on a Monday night live, and I drink Vimto. Well, now I've started drinking water. Because if I drink Vimto, when I then have a glass of wine, it makes it taste absolutely awful. And that's what happened with that one. So I take it back. That's why that first mouthful was awful. I forgot I necked the remnants of a glass of Vimto. Let's have another go. No, completely ignore everything that I said. That's smooth, it's refined, and it has quite, yeah, yeah, it works on different areas of the palate, and it is a little zesty, and it does leave that beautiful trail going down. So anyway, thank you very much indeed, Joe. It's very much appreciated. So what was I saying? Oh yeah. So right, my data's run out. So I'm thinking, right, I'm going to have to upload it via Wi-Fi at work. And the Wi-Fi at work is the slowest Wi-Fi in the history of the world ever. It's absolutely pants. So I got into work at whatever it was, 6 o'clock. It's not a long video. It's only 40 minutes long, 39 minutes long. You know, it would upload in, 40 minutes here at home, max. So I started uploading it, re-uploading it. It was at about 6% uploaded at this point, at 6 o'clock at work. Do you know what time it uploaded and processed? About 4 minutes to 10. I've been bloody obsessing over it all night. I had to, in between customers, I had to do the thumbnail and the description, which I need to alter because there's a link that I should have put in and forgot to. So yeah, and I finally got the blessed thing up just before I left work and came home. So that's been my day. I hope yours has been a bit more normal. And honestly, I sat down here at this very seat. I sat down at 11 o'clock. And apart from getting up to go to the loo, to make a second and a third cup of coffee, and to warm something up for lunch, I didn't move. I've been sitting here glued to an iPad all bleeding day. So I hope your days involve fresh air and wonderful things. Now, who have I got? Sean is here, obviously. Thank you again, Sean, for joining the old channel membership. Steve Colg is with us. Lord Stiff Upper Lip is here and says, hello, Boaty McBoatface, also known as Boaty. Good evening, Lord Stiff Upper Lip. Jimmy Quinn is here. Good evening, Boaty and all. HW100 or HW Song or HW Cento is also here. Says, evening, Boaty. Hope you're well. The lovely Simone is here. Hooked on Classics. What a splendid channel that is. Good evening, Stoty. Good evening, Simone. Chas Brown is here. Good evening, all. Oh, and Trace is here. The Greenwood. Hello, everyone. How many are here because you saw this live stream mentioned on Captain Mustard? Well, good question. Not many, because there's only 25 people watching. So I don't think we're being inundated by mustard teeny boppers. Good evening, Playmates, says Sean. Well, now, Andrew Buttigieg, also known as Ivor Spotty Botty, giving us a bit of a Allegro man. Well, now then. Oh, I lost that in the middle. Hello, Boaty and everyone. Chas Brown replies to Trace and says, I somehow get here most nights and by accident. Yeah, well, it would be by accident. Jimmy says hello to Sean. Trace says hello to Sean. Peter P is with us. Good evening, or good evening, Peter P. I'm delighted that you're here. Thank you. Neil is with us. Hello, all. How are we doing tonight? We're all the better for seeing you, Neil. You lovely, big, lovely man, you. Hello to Jimmy. Buddy Scrutter is here. Good evening. Chris McGuire is here and says evening chat. The one and only Captain Mustard is here and gives us his trademark hello, except he does it in a more northern and camp and damp Jesus type way, which I can't do. He can impersonate me. I can't really impersonate him. I just end up sounding like, I don't know, Thora Hurd during a bad dose of diarrhea, or Alan Bennett spaced out on something illegal. Diddly-do. Tom is here and says, greetings, Boaty. I was up your neck of the woods today. Tom, was it you that pinged me? Was it you that pinged me, my dear chap? I'm so sorry if it was you. If not, whoever it was who sent it. Let me have a look. Oh, I don't want to be doing that. Why am I recording that? Oh, I didn't mean to do that at all. I may have just sent Sean a voice message entirely by accident. Yeah, so was it you, Tom? Let me have a look. Yeah. It was. I apologize I didn't reply. I did see it, but I was balls deep in editing the video that won't be mentioned again after tonight, because you're all sick to the death of it. But yeah, Tom was up in my neck of the woods today. He was on his way to Kerber Edge, and I'm not difficult to find, and he spotted me. And well, not me personally. I had my curtains drawn, and he didn't knock on the door, which was probably a good job, because I was probably in my underpants at that point, or asleep, in which case I might not have been. Anyway, we don't need to talk about that. You didn't come here to hear about my underpants. Well, I don't think you did. I mean, if you did, let me know. If you would like to hear regular updates on my underpants status, then let me know in the comments. And as always, I will cater to your every demand and desire, because I'm good like that. This is actually really rather nice. And yeah, he pinged me and sent me some photographs of my own cars, which I was very grateful for, because I was so deep in the edit, I've forgotten what they look like. Hope you had a good time up here, Tom. The warmest of welcomes to Boaty's maiden wine burp, says Trace. Yeah, I managed to come out with a wine burp before I even drank any wine. That's going some, isn't it? Daz Smith is with us. Good evening, Boaty and chat. Hope you're all well. And Simone lets me know that she had a fairly good day. Did her deliveries, a little shopping, and treated herself to a new portable electric telephone. What did you go for, Simone? Let us know. Oh, bloody hell. She does let us know. I have ditched the smartphone for a fantastic Nokia 105. Excuse me. I don't know what a Nokia 105 is, but presumably, if Simone is saying that she ditched the smartphone, then it's a non-smartphone, and of the type of phone that we used to have before smartphones came along. That would be a really boring but kind of interesting feature to do. What was your phone progression? Now, I was always a Nokia man, as I think we all. That was a big one. Thank God I wasn't too close to the microphone. I started out as a Nokia man. I expect that we all did. But I went all the way with the Nokia. I had the communicators. The first communicator, the 9 whatever it was, that was about the size of a house brick, but had a fantastic game on it. And then the subsequent communicator, which was a much smaller and more compact arrangement, looked more like a normal Nokia, but it split open and did all of that. And then I went from them onto BlackBerry. I was very fond of Blackberries, but I didn't go to Blackberries early because they had those stupid small buttons, and I've got big old hands. So, big hands and those original Blackberries don't really mix, do they, my lovelies? I went to BlackBerry when they brought out their first touch screen model, which was called something. I've still got it upstairs. And then I went on from that to the BlackBerry Torch, I think, their second touch screen. Because their first touch screen, it wasn't a touch screen, it was a press screen. Didn't have buttons, but you actually had to depress the screen, if I remember correctly. And then I think the Torch was an actual touch screen, but it was also a slidey. Did anybody else have the Nokia slidey banana phone? They were brilliant. They were really cool. That was when orange were a thing. That was the coolest thing that you could have back then. The Nokia banana slidey on orange with an 0973 number. Bloody hell, it's amazing the things that you remember, isn't it? And my first tablet was a BlackBerry Playbook, believe it or not. And then I went on to iPhones only after my mother died. Now, my mother, she loved technology, even though she was of a certain vintage. And she was early onto the iPhone thing. And we used to have playful arguments about which was best, iPhone or BlackBerry. And I used to accuse her of just wanting to be fashionable and being a sheep and all of the things that you say to people who have Apple products. And she absolutely loved her iPhone. And when she passed away, I don't need to tell you how a person feels when their mother passes away. Bad enough at the best of times, but when your mum is also your best friend and you're kind of inseparable, then not so easy. And I decided that I wanted to take over her phone as a connection thing, even though it was an iPhone and therefore not as good as my BlackBerry. Except I found out that it was actually a lot better than my BlackBerry, didn't I? So I bought an iPad, didn't I? And I found out that an iPad was a lot better than a BlackBerry Playbook. And that was it. I've been an Apple fanboy ever since. Abuse me, I don't care. They're just better. And a MacBook is better than a Windows laptop, and an iMac is better than a Windows computer. And I have got an iMac sitting upstairs. Many of you will know that I paid, I think, £73 for it, and it's 12 years old, and it still works better, quicker, and better again. And I know that's two betters, but sometimes you need them, than a 6-month-old Windows thing. So there you go. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Sean is now welcome, says Trace, to stay in Boaty's spare room whenever he fancies. I think that was it. Yeah, that is one of the more mentionable perks of being a top tier channel member. It genuinely is, actually. I offered you like virtually anything, didn't I? Trisha Alderman is with us. Good evening, Jason, and all in chat. Well, the name has kiss ass in it, Boaty, says Simone. Not sure which name that is. I'm so looking forward to watching your Wales video. Watching your Wales video, says Trace. I hope my clothing colour ideas worked for you. Well, we shall see. Andrew says, Sean, some of the perks of a Boaty membership are cake. Yes, that's right. That is a genuine thing. As a channel member, you are entitled to cake. Spending the night in Boaty's spare room. Yes, that is also a true thing. He'll tuck you in nice and tight. And if you're lucky, Boaty will read you one of his bedtime stories. I haven't done a bedtime story for a while, have I? I'm too frightened of being thrown off YouTube. If anybody watching this isn't aware of what Boaty's bedtime stories are or were, then honestly, count yourself fortunate and be glad that you're not having to pay the therapy bill that those who watch them are. They are beyond utterly disgraceful. And if I was a more decent human being, I would be ashamed of myself and whoever wrote the damn things. But I'm not a decent human being, so I'm not ashamed. So anyway, good evening, Boaty, says Ed Usher. Angela, the housekeeper, has just left. The minx. She's very thorough, if you know what I mean. A large stiff drink should calm me down. Chin chin to you, sir. Well, chin chin indeed. Chin chin indeed, Ed. And as always, thank you so much for forming an integral part of this wonderfully strange and eclectic little community of ours. Right, if you don't believe how busy I've been, I'm going to prove it to you now. These two condiments, of which I'm so proud, are still sitting on the side. I've not found them a proper home yet. I'm so pleased with those. Oh, that little road trip was the gift that kept on giving, wasn't it? And I've got some little edible memories. Tracy's having a laugh. Andrew, Jimmy F500 says, I've only seen 11 minutes of the video for now. The rest will have to wait. I was sorting my forced purchase of my new phone. Oh, right. I would rather stay in a hotel, Andrew, than Boaty, says Jimmy Quinn. It would be cheaper. And Andrew agrees and said, yeah, and safer, which is probably true. Simone is interested in why Jimmy F was forced to buy a phone. Oh, a message held for review. And I don't know why that would be held for review. It's just the Welsh flag. Oh, that's right. Of course, Jimmy F. I forgot that you lost your phone, didn't you? And you didn't find it. So, yeah, you would have been forced to get another one. Oh, and Captain Mustard has changed his trademark hello to Al Reet. So Captain Mustard has now said hello twice in his own inimitable style. How was your life tonight, Mustard? As mad as usual? Now that I mean, you know, I'm rubbing shoulders with the great and the good of the interweb now, aren't I? Knocking about with Sean and his massive YouTube channel, knocking about with Mustard, who is now a viral international sensation. If only some of their magic would rub off on me, but I don't mind. I'm happy to be my humble little self and have the wonderful company of you amazing people. I don't need the money or the fame or the plaudits or the adulation. I mean, you know, a few more offers of podgering wouldn't go amiss, but there you are. No word from Bernard tonight for those who want a Bernard update. And amazingly, last night, by the time I polished off last night's live stream, and being aware that I had quite an editing job ahead of me today, I didn't stay up late and drink too much and drunk texter, which back in the day I would definitely have done, but I didn't. So there you are. Her calls went unanswered and no kind of communication has been sent. That'll teach her to run off with somebody else, won't it? Oh, hello. I was not Jimmy Quinn. I was not. Pure Evil is here, the lovely Adam. Good evening, everyone. Just got done watching your Rediscovering Your Homeland video. Absolutely worth a watch if anyone hasn't seen it yet. That's very kind of you to say so. Thank you very much. Neil says, well, me and Sophie have had a productive day. Put up the new wardrobe and chest of drawers in the old bedroom, and everything's a lot better now. I'm really delighted to hear it. A reminder to some of you, and maybe some of you don't know, Sophie, Neil's other half, moved into her first place of her own. And Neil is definitely not living there. Absolutely not. You're not living there, are you, Neil? Definitely not. 100% not. I don't think he even knows where it is. So if anybody of an official nature is watching, he's not living there. Ben, whose name I feel I ought to say, I haven't said it for months, have I, Ben? Well, I mean, I have, because I know that you're called Ben, but I mean your YouTube name. Rose_cheeks with plums in them. Open bracket, traces after burn, smiley emoticon, close bracket, tripemonger. You can see why I don't say it, can't you? Ben says, just finished episode 1. Absolutely fantastic. Superb thumbnail. Thanks to Sean for that. Very well crafted intro. Oh, thank you very much. All familiar info, the text to me, yet I found it very moving. Feedback, remember to use the wipers. Oh, I know, and I don't know why I didn't. That section in Wine Gran, and outside Solano, I don't know why I didn't wipe the windscreen, and it kind of ruins it a bit, doesn't it? I mean, that's just, nervousness, unprofessionalism, call it what you want on my part. But thank you for your kind comments about the other bits, and I'm glad that you found it moving, because I can assure you there was nothing contrived about any of that. I think you lot know that, because I think you know how worked up about it I was beforehand. And that wasn't concern about, am I throwing time or my money, or to be more accurate, mostly your money, at a video that might die on its ass. It was the emotional side that I knew was going to, or that I thought was going to kill me. And I was really, really anxious about it. And when I jumped in and did the edit, obviously before today, I've not had a chance to look at any of the footage, because obviously yesterday I left the hotel, drove home. You know how that journey went. Went straight to work, came home, did a live stream, ate some supper, went to bed. That was pretty much that. So it's only tonight when I looked at it, and the bit when I'm in the car and I've started the engine, and that was filmed chronologically. I've not messed about with that. That was the order. I started the engine, and the emotions were absolutely mad, absolutely raving, and I think it just showed in my eyes in that little clip. And then in order for it to make any sort of sense, I knew I needed to tell a little bit of the backstory, and idiot that I am, I completely forgot to do that on camera. So I thought I'd do it over some rolling footage with some Welsh music in the background. And I'm glad you enjoyed that, Ben, because I thought it went okay. I'm to be honest, I was grateful that Sean was there with me, because I think it would have been a very different video otherwise, because the chances are I would have just fallen apart a bit. But thank you, Ben. That's really kind, really kind. Sherry Kay is with us. Hello, Sherry. I'm so pleased that you've become a regular visitor. Well, sorry, you're not a visitor at all. You're now a fully integrated part of this community. And my goodness me, you're so welcome. Hey there, hi there. Did you say that Sean was going to post a video at 11 a.m. your time today? I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but I'm thinking you're involved with it too. No, not today, Sherry. At about 10 p.m., so about an hour and a half ago, I posted a video which contains an awful lot of Sean. And at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, Sean is posting his video of the same day, which has got an awful lot of me in it. So between both channels, you're going to be getting a double dose of me and Sean. So my video is already up. Sean's will be up at 7 o'clock UK time tomorrow morning. Neil says, I got to his house and had to drive. Hey, I don't understand this. I got to his house and had to drive home. No spoilers. It looks brilliant. I got to his house and had to drive home. Okay, I'm a little bit lost on that one. Tom says, thanks for recommending Curb at Edge. It was amazing. Oh, also popped into Pete Rail and Matlock. I didn't think that knocking on your window would have been wise, having not met you in person yet. What sort of time was this, Tom? I mean, as it happens, today would have been a really lousy day because there's no way I could have got away from the editing. And if it was early doors, then I would have been fast asleep. But for future reference, if you're going to be in the area again, then give me a bit of warning. But please, you're more than welcome. Pop around for a cup of coffee or whatever. And that applies to... Oh, sorry. Right, Neil, I understand. I understand. Right. Neil was watching the video and got to the part where I got to my house. And then he had to drive home. So he's saying, nobody spoil it with the rest of the video, but it looks brilliant. Okay, thank you, Neil. Now I get it. Tom, yeah. So yeah, next time, give me a bit of notice. But yeah, please do. Please do pop in, have a cup of coffee. And the same applies to all of you. I would be now. I might not put this on a video because you never know what nutters are out there. But all of you lot, I mean, my beloved inner scrotum, inner sanctum, I would love to meet each and every one of you. Oh, and another reminder that all being well, I will be at the meeting at the Great British Car Journey at Ambergate on Saturday. And I'm still open to the idea of organising a pub meet and Sunday lunch at the Highwayman. Oh my God. The Weinbergs are taking over the live stream. You know that, don't you? I mean, give this another 10 years. And my live streams will consist of entirely of camera turns on, my carer helps me to sit down, I dribble and burp at you for an hour, and then my carer says, Pachu and indeed, bosh, and the live stream is all over with. I say 10 years. That could be next bloody month, couldn't it, with my lifestyle? Probably do better numbers, actually. So it could very easily be a blessing in disguise. Peter P says Nokia Ringo. Barry Scott says my first personal phone was an eNortel Nevada. God, eNortel, that rings a bell. For Jimmy, it was a Nokia 3310. I think a lot of people would be that. Chaz Brown, I started with the Philips Savvy brick phone back in the day. The battery lasted about 15 minutes. Oh, and Ben says, good evening, all fans of Cameron Parry Hughes Productions. Blimey. Oh dear. Yeah, that's the future. That's the future. We'll bugger off to some of the nicer spots of Wales and flog the programmes to the BBC, who will pay us about £112 per episode. I am going to drag him to Llandudno. whether he likes it or not. My first phone was the flip phone Ericsson T28. I had one of those. I did have one of those. That was the T28. Wasn't that the world's smallest one? That tiny, tiny, tiny little thing. They were quite cool. Oh, Mustard says, righto, I've finished cleaning up. I have a video to edit. I will drop in. Ben had a 1999 Philips Savvy metallic blue on orange. Remember Orange Wednesdays? I do. My first phone, says Jimmy Quinn, was a Nokia Mobira Senator. Bloody hell, in 1982. Dear God. Goodness me. The best phone I ever had, says Tom, was a flip screen Motorola. Absolutely bomb-proof. Yet everyone at school thought I was weird as I didn't have any social media. Right, you're obviously a bit younger than me, Tom. Because when I was at school, portable electric telephones weren't so much of a thing. I had a Mars bar phone, says Jimmy Quinn. Oh, Sean says already 64 views on the Wales video. Are there really? Oh, go on. Let's have a look. Probably shouldn't, in case you're disappointed. 97, not bad. 1 of 10 in the first of the last 10 in the first 1 hour and 45 minutes. And the comments are full of people telling me to put my wipers on. Quite right too. I can't remember what model my first mobile was, says Andrew. It was a Nokia, and the second one was a Nokia 6300. Do you remember the snake game on Nokia? Oh, God, that was a way to spend hours of your day, wasn't it? Oh, and Sean is telling Sherry that his video is 7 a.m. Thursday UK time, indeed. Chaz Brown says, Boaty's bedtime stories. You needed triage at the local hospital after them. You know, I haven't got the balls or the brass neck to do another one yet. They were outrageous, absolutely outrageous. And to this day, I don't know how I got away with them. And the amazing thing is, they're monetized. They're actually monetized. My God almighty, YouTube have got no morals or standards whatsoever. If you're wondering what we're talking about with these bedtime stories, they can be found on my channel, Boaty's Bedtime Stories. Do not look at them. You will never be the same again. Mr. Stephen Parry from Port Sunlight in the Whittle, the Lesser Peninsula, says, how is our Mr. Jason? Sony Ericsson 129 was the best mobile phone I've had before the smartphones. Oh, how many miles did you do all in the car on the road trip, old chap? I forgot to look. The first day was 260 something. And I totally forgot to. Do you want me to look? The car's just outside the front door. I'll go and have a peek. Oh, no, I won't. I'll tell you tomorrow. I'll put it in Facebook. I don't want to be opening the door. I might wake the bloody neighbour up. But it's going to be well over 400, that's for sure. Simone says, hang on. Ben says, to avoid disturbing the force of the impeding expansion of Boaty's world beyond the inner scrotum, maybe the bedtime stories could follow the noshes to a more secluded channel. Yeah, that's a thought, isn't it? Although Sean suggested that maybe put Boaty's noshes. If I can make these videos members only, not because I'm trying to fleece you into paying for a membership to see them, but if I put them as members only videos, then they're still on this channel, but they won't hurt the algorithm, because the algorithms that decide whether or not to push your videos, the algorithms will ignore the member only ones. So I might actually do that with Boaty's Noshes and with some other videos that would otherwise do some harm. And they can be viewed if you've got a channel membership. And if you want to see them and you can't justify or afford the 99p a month, then seriously, let me know and I'll ping you the money so you can do it. I don't want anybody to miss out. And as poor as I am, if you wanted to carry on watching Boaty's Noshes, then I would gladly ping you the 99p. I mean, I'd get 40p of it back, so I'm not being that generous. And of course, each month I do give away channel memberships as well. So I don't think I would be being too exclusive by doing that. But it would help me with my visibility and the algorithm and pushing the videos and whatnot, because they do absolutely die on their ass. I mean, the bedtime stories did all right for views, but oh dear. My phone history, as far as I remember, says Simone. Philips Diger, Philips Savvy Vogue, Nokia 3310. Everybody had a Nokia 3310. Nokia 5510. Nokia Engage. Sony Ericsson W302. Sony Ericsson W800. Sony Xperia M2, M3, L3, Nokia 105. I'm actually not, says Neil. I'm currently sat in my room at my mum and dad's. Oh, well, there, see, I was telling the truth. Stephen says Neil's only at Sophie's, climbing out the bedroom down the drain pipe. It is indeed cheaper at mum and dad's, Neil. Yeah, the hotel of mum and dad. Oh, Sherry says, Sean, did Boaty give you a hug for me like I asked him to? I told him to before he went. I have crushes on both of you. Well, we are both available, Sherry. Why do it vicariously when you could just pop over to Wales and hug him yourself, or me for that matter? Neil says, Jimmy, a lot will change when I do move in. It's going to be a shock to the system again. Yeah, that's in reference to mum and dad's being cheaper. Tom says, thanks, and I will do. I was around 11 to 12. Oh, that would normally be okay. Had a bit of a walk around. Wasn't expecting to come across your house. I'll be at the Great British Car Journey as well. Oh, brilliant. Well, I'll see you then. Oh, and Sherry says, okay, I write Angel always picking up titles. Now, I don't know if I could write the book or essay or something, but I might steal what you just said and figure out what to do with it. Inner. Okay. It's been a very MG Rover dominated Easter holidays for me, says Tom. I went to meet Mustard last week. Oh, did you? Oh, of course. Yeah, you did, didn't you? Yeah. Don't be surprised if I end up buying an MG Rover this year. I'll buy one of mine. I'm a bit skint at the moment. I could do with the money. Ah, yes, the old inner scrotum, Sherry. Yeah, well, you are now a valued part of my inner scrotum. Oh, I'm still in my 20s, says Tom. You're a fetus. You're a fetus, man. But won't be in 2 months. Oh, don't worry about that. Don't have any anxieties about turning 30. Enjoy it. The time between 30 and 50, they're the best years of your life, I find. Admittedly. Right. Now, obviously, Sean is about to turn 50. I turned 50 years ago. And there are 3 rules when you turn 50. And I won't claim credit for these. Eddie Jordan came up with this, but I endorse it wholeheartedly. The 3 rules for a man over 50. Number one, never pass a lavatory. Have a go. You never know. Number two, never trust a fart. And number three, never waste an erection. There you go. Rules to live by, darlings. Adam says, I had a Sony Ericsson T630. It had a fantastic button on the side that would take you onto the proto-internet. Cost me 20 quid in the first month I had it. Removed the button with pliers by the second. Well, of course, Adam, you're a young chap, but and this is a feature that could run and run, right? Anybody like me who's been a parent or been in a parent situation in the mobile phone age, I'll guarantee you that every one of us has been in the position of the horrific phone bill. I bet you I'm not the only one. I can't be the only one. Now, there was a time before the mobile phone providers allowed you to put a cap on the spending on a contract phone. And when my kids, my stepkids, reached a certain age, I gave them a speech about, right, you're so old now, you're becoming an adult, and I'm going to give you the trust of an adult. So one of the things that I will do, because I bought them all cars and all of that sort of thing, one of the things that I will do is I will replace your pay-as-you-go phone with a contract mobile. I did that with the eldest. In the first month, she ran up a bill of £800. I did it with the second eldest, the tall one. She ran up a bill of £800. I did it with James, the young master. He ran up a bill in the first month of around £700. And then, bless her, the last born didn't get one. I'm not doing it again. I'm not doing it again. But then that's karma. That's the universe turning about, because I did the same to my parents, and I did it twice. The first time, was with one of those phone-in chat things, not a dirty thing, nothing like that. There was a thing when I was a kid called, I think it was called Talkabout or something like that. And you rang this number and you were in like a joint chat. And it was like a pickup place. It's where you met girls or girls met boys. And you'd find somebody, and you weren't allowed to exchange numbers on there. So the trick was you had to, so obviously if you exchange numbers, they're not getting their premium rate phone call, are they? So the trick was, when you found somebody that you chatted to and you liked, we were only kids. This was like an under 18s thing or something like that. Probably between 16 and 18, I think it was. And so you had to find a way of giving the person your number, or your parents' number, of the house phone, the landline, no mobiles back then. So you'd say, do you know the sheep game? Yeah, I know the sheep game. Well, there were 10 sheep, and then there were 23 sheep, and then there were 49 sheep, and they were all in Redditch. And that was the phone number, and in Redditch meant that it was an 01527 dialing code. And that was how you'd give them your number, or they would give you yours. Oh, I ran up a big bill on that, darlings. I ran up a big bill on that. And then I did it again a few years later on, when I would have been 18. And I've told you the story before that, I was seriously racing at this point, and I was racing in Europe. And I've told you the story. I went on the team pre-season meetup thing, or whatever it was, and it was held at the Merton Hotel in Jersey. And I met this Norwegian girl, didn't I? And when I got back to the UK out of season, I rang her, didn't I? Oh yes, I did, on my parents' landline. And you would not believe how expensive international phone calls were back then. Oh my God, yeah. Oh, my poor parents. But what goes around comes around, because, you know, whatever angst or grief or heartache you give to your parents, if you end up in a parenting situation yourself, you get it all back in spades. What goes around very definitely comes around. Ah, yes, says Andrew, the snake game. Spent plenty of time on the bog at work playing with a snake. Yeah, well, that could be taken two ways, couldn't it? Adam says, also, I think I will be bringing my first car to the Great British Car Show on Saturday. It's got its first MOT since 2014, last Saturday. Oh, bless it. Sophie is here. Hi, everyone, and Boaty. I'm just sorting out all the clothes and bedroom, so I won't be going to bed until later. Good luck with that. Boaty After Dark. All the filth that can't be broadcast on the normal channel. Don't suggest something like that to me. Don't, because you know I'll do it. And you know it'll be worse than you could even imagine. Ben says, members only. Fair point, Mr. Burrows. Kept membered up. You never know, maybe there will be members' feet. I'm trying to save up, but it's hard now, says Tom. I have my first house. Congratulations on that. I've got a short list of about 8 potential cars, all cheap and British. Nothing wrong with that. Sherry says, noshes. I thought only we Jews knew that word. Is it because you're in the restaurant business? No, Sherry, it's because I've got Jewish friends, so I'm rather familiar with Jewish terminology. You know, if you called me a mensch, I would know what you were talking about. There we are. There we are. There we are. There we are. Are my messages hidden? Asked Ben. Can anyone see this? I don't know, Ben. I can't. And Trey says, I can't see your message, Ben. That's helpful. Sean also says, no, I can't see it either. Well, I've read out every one of your messages, Ben. What are you on about? I might just be a little bit behind. Oh, dear. Boaty, says Jimmy, when you're over 60, don't wear white trousers. I wouldn't wear them now. Oh, my lifestyle doesn't support white trousers. Bloody hell, that's a bit 1970s Saturday Night Fever, isn't it? I had no health issues until I hit 50, says Jimmy F. Then everything has since gone to pot. Yeah, well, when I was 50, I still had all my teeth. That's all I'm saying. I can't grumble, really. I can't. I mean, the teeth are only a problem because I'm poor and I can't afford to go to Turkey or Nepal or India or the nice dentist down the road and just get some nice new ones popped in, which would be the thing to do. Everything else is reasonably in reasonable working order, to be fair. I mean, I'm not going to go into details, but the thing that I feared about growing old most wasn't losing my teeth, and that hasn't happened. So I'm counting my blessings. Trey says the phone line thing that you're talking about. I did the same and arranged to meet a guy from it. I must have been late teens. The man who turned up must have been 40, and he was just awful. I love the fact you add that he was just awful, Trace, as if he was a nice guy who was over 40, you'd have said, oh, well, Yep, fair enough. Take me to the Wimpy Bar. Buy me a double burger. You might get lucky. You never know. Nosh is a familiar word in London, says Trace. Ed Usher says, I have to say I'm not interested in telephonic mobility devices with games. I prefer a classic game. Oh, God. I prefer a classic game like Hide the Sausage. Oh, God, you drag me down to the gutter, you people. You really do. Tom says, being in the pigs today reminded me of how much I really want something retro for regular use. I'm so sorry. Especially as the Spitfire is very broken at the moment. Now, on the way back on yesterday, Tuesday, I convoyed along the motorway with a Mark IV Spitfire, 1973, in inky yellow, and it looked absolutely concourse. And I felt a bit jealous until I remembered that I don't fit into a Spitfire. Trey says, YouTube has an auto mod. I've discovered it's quite random. You're not kidding. That's a very good idea, says Jimmy Quinn. Late night with Boaty, a triple extreme. That's okay. Well, it'd have to be on another channel. Because the live stream's available to everybody, like the next day when it's not super late night. And decent people might click on it and be absolutely outraged and appalled, and quite rightly so. Love it, says Sherry. Very cool, and you do seem to be a mensch. That's very kind of you. No higher praise. Oh, it's all good, says Ben. It was 2 messages earlier. Michael Sheen and who your carer might be. Oh, I didn't see those. I genuinely didn't see those. Talking of your humour, says Tom, I sometimes wonder whether I'm too immature to be working as a teacher. I reckon, Tom, that it's probably your element of immaturity, if indeed you do have one, that would quite possibly make you a very good teacher, because you would connect with the children. And I'm not a teacher, never have been, but I was a student. And you learn better, or you learn best, I think, when you feel that you have a connection with the teacher over and above somebody who's just trying to teach you things. You know, if you like them, if you have a connection with them, then I think you probably learn more and you learn better. And I think that to connect with kids, you have to have an inner child yourself. I mean, nobody is more immature than me. And you can't say it these days, can you? But I love the company of kids. Don't. Obviously, I've had stepchildren, and any of you lot who knew me before YouTube, so you knew me with in the Boo and Little Miss days, or in the when I was married and there was firstborn, lastborn, the tall one, and the young master. Then you would know that the kids were my mates, and I loved it. Yeah, I was a parent and a role model, and I did my very best to be the best one that I possibly could be. But they were also my mates, and I loved hanging out with them. I think for some parents, children can almost be a chore, and you love them and you do your best for them, but you value your time away from them. And I was never like that. When I had stepkids, then they were part of everything, because I loved their company. They were amazing people. And there is no privilege in the world like having the privilege of helping a young mind to develop and to expand, and to help a person, a small young person, grow into themselves. I count myself incalculably lucky to have had that. I've been in 3 long-term relationships where stepchildren were involved, and they were undoubtedly the 3 most satisfying and wonderful periods of my life, and I miss them all dearly. I have no contact with the first lot. I have no contact with the second lot from when I was married, but happily, I do still have some contact with Little Miss. And any of you who knew me before YouTube, you know how much fun that me and Boo and Little Miss used to have. Oh my God. There's a video on my Facebook of Little Miss at the grand old age of 8, pushing me around Sainsbury's in Leicester in a trolley, for God's sake. Trace says the guy from the phone chat didn't tell me he was older than 20. He had a sweaty, greasy issue. He was 40-ish, bearded, which was bad in the 1980s, and clearly had duped me into meeting him. Well, yeah, I get that, Trace. It was just the way you couched it. That, you know, that the awful thing wasn't that he was awful, wasn't that he was over 40 and duped you into meeting him. It was that he was awful. It just sounded as if he hadn't been awful, you'd have said, oh, well, fair enough. Yep, carry on with the date. If I was 1 millimeter taller, I wouldn't fit in either, says Tom, talking about his Spitfire. It's good in giving pins and needles. Oh, and refusing to start at the moment. Episode 1 opening shots. A hint of Michael Sheen, I thought, said Ben. Right, okay. Why not do Mr. Jason's extra naughty channel? And for other extras, bloody hell, you'll have me on OnlyFans next. I try and keep the relationship with the kids as positive as possible, says Tom. But sometimes that translates into not being strict enough when I should be and laughing at things I shouldn't. Yeah, I can imagine it's a fine line. I mean, I know when I was a kid, the teachers that we liked, we would never push it too far because we liked them. So they would never really have to be strict with us. We would moderate ourselves because the last thing we would want would be for them to get into any sort of trouble. In a strange twist of fate, says Ben, Boaty's latter late live streams always featured a wet lathered foot washing. Oh, and the carer was Mr. Burrows. Oh, God, could you imagine Mr. Burrows, Esquire, as my carer? Sodding hell. Dear me, my poor feet wouldn't know what hit them. And Tom goes on, it really does feel uplifting when the students trust you to help and advise them. I'm sure it does. I'm sure it really does. And I always try to go the extra mile and spot any that might fall under the radar. Well, there you go, Tom. Just from that one little comment alone, I think we all know that you are one of the best. Absolutely one of the best. And, you know, clearly you went into the profession for all of the right reasons. And your kids are lucky to have you. A hidden message from Neil. Boaty is like that uncle everyone had who buys your fags for you and slips you a beer when your parents are not looking. God. I knew it, Trace. Yeah, if he hadn't been over 20 years older than me and awful and sweaty and greasy, I may well have gone there indeed. I knew it. Darlings, it is gone midnight. This hour has just flown by. And I thank you so very much for your indulgence and indeed your company. Oh, that's cool, Tom. That's cool. So say your good night, darlings. It's time to go. I really need some food and sleepies because I need to reconnect with the real world tomorrow, having not been part of it for 3 days now. And I need to face the harsh realities, which will include dealing with the vengeful gods of the overdraft, going to the post office, paying what little cash I have left in, and dealing with 2 direct debits that bounced because I was off gadding about Wales instead of doing the that was from John. Hey Jason, I've just watched your video. Very emotional for you. Very emotional for you, mate. Yeah, it was. But Michael Butter says, I am here, Boaty. Welcome, Michael. You too are an integral part of this community, and we thank you for your input. Good night all, says Tom. Good night all, says Trace. I'm going to watch part 1 in a mo. Thank you, Boaty, says Ed Usher. Amazing company as always. Back at you. And the same to all of you. Mr. Stephen Paddy from Port Sunlight in the Wirral, the Leisure Peninsula, says, I've got to say that for Ian out of Hubner, it's been the making of him being a stepdad, and also being a stepdad that can be better than being a real dad. I would agree with that. Night, Boaty. Thank you, John, and wishing you a safe and peaceful night too. Night, Boaty and all here, says Jimmy. Have a fantastic night, Boaty, and then everyone to tar for now, says Andrew. Good night all, says Peter P. Ben is asking Michael if his carer's NVQ is up to date. Show me your foot, Boaty. Oh, God. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. Wednesday Night Live, brought to you courtesy of Tewkesbury Mustard, the mustard for the discerning member of the inner scrotum. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. Okay. There is a certain video that we've been talking about a bit up on my channel at the moment. You might want to have a look at it. I don't know. Hold on a minute, because I've just spotted something. I want to have a look at it. Oh, that's nice. What awful footage all the way for that. Oh, well. Thank you very much. Thank you, John Marazzi, for that lovely comment there. Oh, dear. I've forgotten what I was saying there. Oh, yeah. So there's a video up on my channel. You might want to watch it. You might not want to bother. I'm sure you are, John. I'm sure you are, mate. You know where we all are. You know where I am. You know where we all are. It's when is it? Is it this weekend, John? But just a little reminder that Sean has also got a video of us, and the same day and the same thing, but different, very different to my video. Different views, different angles, different footage, and that will be available on his channel from 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Saturday morning, right? John's operation, everybody, is on Saturday morning. That's the op on his tumor, obviously. So we'll be sending plenty of thoughts and prayers your way, John. Yeah. So Sean's channel, 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. I've seen it in advance, and I promise you, it's most definitely worth watching. So, a bit of a frog in the throat tonight. Bye, baby, says Boaty's girlfriend from Liverpool. Good night, my love. And thank you for that night that I will never, ever forget. And hey, let's do it again sometime very soon. The Home for Elderly YouTubers, says Ben. I'd watch that. Trolls are great, says Trace. They give you watch hours. See you in the next chat and live, says Mr. Stephen Paddy. Tricia says good night, everyone. Good luck, John. All the best for the up, John, says Jimmy and Andrew. And yeah, we'll be checking in with John periodically before the big day, which, you know, I think we're all feeling positive about that it will go well and it will be a blessing. Oh, a title from Ben. Returning home to £9 coffee, tea and chips. We'll screenshot that. I've been so obsessed with this damn video that I've been forgetting to ask you to name the live streams. And I haven't even named the live streams myself, the last couple, because I've just needed to go to bed immediately after them. And then I've had to drive home from Wales or sleep or something. So I will catch up on all of that and tidy the videos up and tidy the titles up and tidy the channel up generally. But for now, that is it. After a crazy day, it's ended fabulously. I've loved this. I always do. And I really can't thank you enough for your company. And please do join me again tomorrow night. Same time, same place. 11 o'clock for Thursday Night Live. Oh, thank you, John. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I'll be back 11 o'clock tomorrow night, and I would love nothing more than for you to join me. So thank you to all of you. Thank you to my newest channel member, Mr. Sean James Cameron, and thank you for upgrading to the top tier. And obviously the guest suite and the cake and everything else is now at your immediate disposal. So please, everybody, have a safe and peaceful night. It's still a bit wet and wild out there here. I don't know what it's like where you are. And have the best day that you possibly can tomorrow. And above all, just take really, really good care of yourself and those that you love and that love you. Much, much love from me. Thank you again for tonight, and see you tomorrow. Pachu, and indeed, bosh!